This is an eerily ancient land. It's harsh, it's stark, and it's weathered. But that's what gives it the sense of place.
The land is what makes the wine.
With the kangaroos, the koalas, the snakes, the birds and the caterpillars. That uniqueness is reflected in the wines.
The first bunch of grapes was picked in Australia in 1791. The first bottle of wine was 1792, 1793. So we've had a long, long history.
There is no such thing as an Australian wine. It doesn't exist. There are 60-odd different regions in Australia, and each of those regions has got its own reason to exist. Each of them have got their own characters, their own difference in soil, their own different beliefs in winemaking.
The fact that the Langton's classification is compiled over decades means that it's playing an important role in the maturation of the Australian wine industry.
It's used all around Australia, all around the world as a guide for quality wine in Australia.
The Langton's classification means more to us than the other individual awards we've won in the past because it recognises consistency and quality over time.
You have to work for more than 10 years to get there, and it means a significant amount to actually get on that chart. And then you've also got to maintain your game for the next 10 years and the next 10 years. So it's important.
From the Australian point of view, yes, it's certainly an enormous amount to clarify and stipulate Australia's top wines.
We want to make wines that will really earn their place in the world of wine, ranking alongside the finest.
I don't see why ultra-fine Australian wine shouldn't have a great future, because the past is already splendid. Australia has proved with some truly magnificent wines.
We've been so fortunate to have 200 years of trialling that soil, getting those grapes to be the best they can be.
That's the great thing about wine. It represents where you live and who you are and what you stand for. And we make Australian wine in an Australian style with an Australian fingerprint on that wine.
This is the raw material we have in Australia. It is very special.
179 years ago, I'm sure my family would have had no idea that we'd still be here and farming and part of an amazing wine community.
We pull together and just get on with it and try and have fun with it while we're doing it.
Grape growing is farming the land, and Mother Nature could be a harsh mistress. We've been blessed with some great people who help galvanise and encourage the community during some pretty harsh times.
Wine is not a product of pantry items or a chemist's lab. It's about farming. And if we're good farmers and we work to the conditions and we get good product coming in, then everything flows off the back of that.
When I travel around the world, I just see a real buzz around Australian wines. And it's because of our history, this new generation of risk-taking winemakers, but also the uniqueness of our incredible wine regions.
I think the best thing about the Australian wine industry, we're a youthful industry and we have a lot of youth coming through.
History and tradition has always been something that we've respected. But it's that experimentation, the innovation, thinking outside of the square that has actually got us to where we are now. But it's also what's so important for the future.
I think that was the most exciting thing in my life, the day that I went to work after going to work for 30 years and say good morning to my staff and somebody replies, "Good morning, Dad." You can't explain the emotion or the thrill of that.
I've been able to give Emily a gift that I never ever had, and that is she has grown up on the vineyard. I grew up on a farm. It gave me a feel for the soil. But Emily has got the greater advantage in that she has grown up on the vineyard. She's lived the life since she was born.
I grew up thinking that everybody made wine like we did. I suppose growing up having a vineyard around you the whole time gives you a definite sense of the place. I can't help not being connected to it.
As third generation, it's really important for us to be respectful of the past, have an understanding
of how we've got to where we've got to today, but at the same time we want to improve what we're doing, and we need to challenge what's been done in the past.
I can really feel the ghosts of my great-grandfather and grandfather who made wine in the same place.
It's a caretaking role, and that vision goes well beyond my lifetime, our children's lifetime.
The history, the people, the vineyards. There's a story here.